Hello and welcome back to my channel. Is your Ficus Elastica Tineke dropping leaves, turning yellow or brown, or stretching tall with small leaves? Well, you're not alone, and the truth is, most of these problems come from a few simple care mistakes. In this video, I'll show you the 5 biggest mistakes people make with Tineke and how to avoid them so your plant can stay lush, colorful and healthy. The plant you see here is over 6 feet tall and about 10 years old. For almost 8 years it grew beautifully without any problems. But when I moved it to the wrong spot, it quickly declined. It had lost nearly all its leaves, leaving only a few at the top and one long bare stem. To save it, I cut off 2 small side branches and used them for propagation. These are the 2 branches I propagated, and you can see the difference when conditions are right. Bigger leaves, brighter creamy variegation, and compact bushier growth. One of them is perfectly healthy, while the other shows a few brown patches on the white parts of the leaves, something I'll explain later in this video. Now let's begin with the first and most important mistake. The most common mistake with Ficus Elastica Tineke is giving it the wrong type of light. This plant needs bright indirect light to keep its creamy variegation vibrant and its leaves large and healthy. When it doesn't get enough light, the first signs are smaller leaves, stretched stems and fading colors. The beautiful white and green pattern slowly turns dull or even disappears. Because Tineke is variegated, it actually needs a little more light than all green rubber plant varieties. The lighter parts of the leaves don't contain chlorophyll, so they can't photosynthesize. If the plant doesn't get enough light, the variegation fades and growth slows down. The best position for Tineke are near bright windows, but protected from direct harsh sun. An east-facing window is ideal because it gives gentle morning light. A few feet back from a south or west-facing window also works well, as long as the plant isn't exposed to strong midday sun. North-facing windows usually aren't bright enough unless you add a grow light. Also keep in mind that distance from the window makes a big difference. Light fades quickly the further you move from the glass. A spot right next to the window can be perfect, but even just a few feet back may already be too dark, especially in winter. And that's exactly what happened with my older plant. It struggled in a darker spot, so I moved it to a brighter location. The light wasn't as good as the original place, but it was still an improvement. After a few months, the plant started producing new branches along the stem and pushed out fresh leaves at the top. The leaves are smaller than on my other 2 Tinekes, but the overall plant looks bushier and much healthier now. These 2 smaller plants are thriving just a few feet away from a southwest-facing window, which seems to be the perfect spot. The light there is bright but not too harsh, and it keeps the plants compact, colorful and strong. Rotation is also very important. If your Tineke always faces the same direction, it will stretch toward the light and grow uneven. Turning the plant every few weeks helps it grow evenly with balanced light on all sides. If your home is darker, especially during the winter months, a grow light can really help. Even just a few extra hours of supplemental light can make a big difference in keeping your Tineke lush, colorful and healthy. Another very common mistake with Tineke is overwatering. This plant doesn't like to sit in constantly wet soil. When the roots stay soggy for too long, they begin to rot, and the plant shows it with yellowing leaves, brown spots and even sudden leaf drop. If the leaves turn yellow and feel soft or mushy, it's usually too much water. If they droop, curl or turn crispy, it's usually not enough. Another clear sign of overwatering is bad smell coming from the soil. That often means the roots have already started to rot. Over the years, I've noticed that rubber plants in general prefer their soil to dry out before the next watering, but not to dry out completely. Finding that balance is the key to keeping them healthy. And the solution is simple. Always check the soil before watering. Stick your finger about 2 inches deep. If it feels dry, it's time to water. If it's still damp, wait a few more days. With my big Tineke, this became a problem after I moved it to a lower light spot. The soil stayed wet longer, but I kept watering on the same schedule, and that stress led to leaf loss. So, the lesson is clear. Always match your watering to the light and temperature in the room. More light and warmth usually mean the plant will use water faster. Less light and cooler air mean you need to slow down and water less often. The next big mistake with Tineke is using the wrong soil mix or keeping the plant in the wrong pot size. Over time, soil breaks down and loses both structure and nutrients. It becomes compact, holds water unevenly, and the roots don't get enough air. This slows down growth and makes the plant weaker. That's exactly what happened with this plant. The soil is very dry, light in weight, and completely depleted. It's no longer providing what the plant needs, so I will repot it into fresh soil and a pot just one size bigger. A pot that's too large can hold excess water, which often leads to root problems. Rubber plants don't need a lot of room to thrive, so always choose a pot only 1 to 2 sizes larger. Repotting is usually needed every 2 years or sooner if the plant has clearly outgrown its pot. If the soil is old, but the pot size is still fine, you can simply replace the soil in the same container. Or if you don't want to fully repot, just remove the top layer of old soil and add fresh soil on the top. When it comes to the best soil mix for Tineke, a standard houseplant mix works well with about 30% perlite added. The perlite keeps the soil airy, helps excess water drain, and prevents the roots from sitting in soggy soil. You can also add bark chips or coco coir for extra structure and balance. The goal is a light, well-draining mix that still holds some moisture but never stays wet for too long. After repotting, always give your plant a deep watering. I usually let the pot soak for about 15 minutes, then drain out any excess water before putting it back in place. Repotting with fresh, well-structured soil gives the roots more space, nutrients and airflow, and you will quickly notice the difference in stronger, healthier growth. The next common problem with Tineke is brown or yellow leaves. Many people panic when they see this, but in most cases it's simply a sign that something in the care routine is off. Yellow leaves often mean overwatering or low light. If the plant isn't getting enough light, it can't photosynthesize properly, so the leaves fade and eventually turn yellow. Overwatering causes a different kind of yellowing. The leaves become soft, mushy, and sometimes fall off easily because the roots are suffocating in wet soil. Yellowing can also appear if the plant is underwatered for too long. A single older leaf turning yellow now and then is natural aging, but if several leaves across the plant turn yellow at once, it usually points to a bigger care issue. Brown leaves, on the other hand, can appear for several reasons. Crispy edges often mean the air is too dry, watering is inconsistent, or the plant is getting too much direct sunlight. Brown patches can also form from sudden temperature changes, cold drafts, or if water droplets remain on the leaves and burn in the sun. One thing to keep in mind with Tineke is its variegation. As I mentioned before, the creamy white or pale yellow parts of the leaves don't contain chlorophyll, which makes them weaker and more sensitive. They're naturally more prone to browning, especially in strong sunlight, low humidity, or when water droplets remain longer on the leaves. This doesn't always mean something is seriously wrong, but it shows how delicate variegated sections can be. You can see here on my Tineke, the brown patches are only on the white parts of the leaves, and this happened while I was away. Too much direct light and dry air. The key is to observe the plant. If just the oldest leaves are affected, it's usually nothing to worry about. But if several leaves start yellowing or browning all at once, it means the plant is stressed and needs a change. This plant likes stable conditions. Sudden changes like moving it from a warm room to a drafty hallway or keeping it too close to heaters or air conditioners can stress the plant and cause leaf drop. Cold drafts in winter are especially damaging. Humidity is another important factor. Tineke can adapt to normal household levels, but very dry air often leads to brown edges, crispy tips and weaker growth. This happens most often in winter, when indoor heating dries the air. The solution is to keep your Tineke in a spot with steady temperatures, ideally between 65 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Avoid placing it near drafty windows, radiators or vents. If your air is very dry, especially in winter, try increasing humidity with a humidifier or grouping plants together, or simply placing a tray of water with pebbles nearby. When the temperature and humidity are right, the plant grows stronger, the leaves stay fresher, and the variegation looks brighter and healthier. Keep in mind that each plant is unique, and the best thing you can do is observe the signs it gives you. If you react early, you can prevent bigger damage, something I learned the hard way with my own Tineke. This was the first part of my Tineke plant care problems. In the next video, I'll share 5 more problems and tips to help you keep your plant healthy and thriving. If you have any questions or if you'd like to share your own experience, please leave a comment below. I'll be happy to answer. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel for more plant care tips. Thanks for watching and happy growing!